But is that junk? Absolutely.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And broadcasting. Right.
Okay, we've got the meeting called to order. We did the pledge. I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda. No questions or concerns with the agenda. Also the minutes.
I'll second Richard's motion.
Okay, of the regular meeting of April 22nd.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Amber, you said we have no liquor licenses? Okay, public comment. Anybody have any public comment?
As I provided you guys pictures before the meeting, I'm here to voice concern and ask for help, advice, direction on how we can address some properties that are in disrepair and bringing in trash and setting it just down the road from my home. And in one case, it's been going on for 27 years. And
31. I'll help you out.
Yeah, I was giving him the benefit of the doubt that we finished our house before he did, and he started his before we did. So
No,
he brought in approximately 80 feet by 6 by 6 or 80 yards of used insulation. And it's a health hazard and it looks like crap. And if that's how we want to represent our county, we've got to do something. I was here a year and a half ago about the property itself because that house has been there and it's in disrepair. It's got holes in it. The siding's Tyvek's worn off. Never been siding on it. And he brings in, calls in crap after crap after crap, and this is a straw.
Yeah, this is on the corner of Highway 34 and 280th.
Yes.
also behind the insulation, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead, Richard.
Behind the insulation, behind there, I think there is 5. I would call them junk cars. He calls them drivable. That pickup has been there now for almost a year.
The 3 cars have
And
been
all
there
the-
for 3 plus one of them's been there for 7 years.
Yeah. And all the weed piles and stuff that you see next to the truck trailer and stuff is all cement blocks, stuff that he hauled in. I think it's been 4 or 5 years ago that he was going to clean up and build a building with, but never materialized. But he tells me, he says, well, I got the prettiest lamp post. He says, I got the prettiest decorated drive there is here. I'm going.
Not when you haul in all that
And last
insulation and
night
dump it in
with the
there.
southerly wind, there was some insulation. It wasn't big chunks, but it was blowing around. And one of the neighbors has small children that ride bicycles, go-karts, such things up and down his driveway right to the south. This stuff is in the air. They're having to breathe it. I think it's a very big health hazard to the young children,
I agree.
so I think this is a very good project to write a nuisance ordinance over, Mr. John.
Sorry. You know.
No.
I'll give you a copy of this. See what we're talking about.
And on the second page, there's also across the road, someone brought in half a double wide. So that's the other piece.
It needs to be taken care of.
And that snuck in sometime between 10 o'clock on
And
Sunday
6
night and
a.m.
7 o'clock,
Monday.
or something like that on Monday morning. I don't think you got permits or anything for it.
Right. Let's check with building and zoning and let's get public health on it, and let's also look into moving
Matt
forward,
Lyon,
some
they have-
kind of a nuisance ordinance. Excuse me?
Matt Wyman has some tools in the toolbox in terms of.
Yeah,
ordinances that would-
let's explore all options as soon as we possibly can. I wouldn't want to look at it, and I feel sorry for these people that have to, so.
And I have,
And it's right. I mean, everybody coming in and out of Mills County sees that. So,
Drive by it every day.
yeah, it's just not right.
I had a guy come down from Atlantic yesterday to work on my corn planter. And he says, you live at 280th Street in that undone house, don't you? I said, yep.
Yeah, that's how I give
I mean,
people
that-
directions on where to turn.
Yeah.
And
You can't miss it.
that's not really how I
No,
wanna. tell
And I
them where
have
live.
talked to public health. They said, we're aware of it. I said, well, what about rats, mice, all sorts of infestation? Plus, if it gets wet, it's gonna mold.
Mhm.
Then what? I said, you go into a moldy house that's been flooded. I said, the first thing they start tearing out is old insulation and stuff. So I said, and, I talked to P and Z. So, John, I think they could help on any of that.
Anything that we can find, please find it.
Yeah, I will give Matt Wyman a call and see what ordinances we got on the books. that will
Thank
help
you.
with that.
Thank you.
And being this is open discussion, we can't, make a motion or anything, but I'd like to see something back within 2 weeks,
Oh,
Can we
yeah,
put
or
that in the
sooner,
minutes?
yeah,
if possible.
yes.
What would you like?
I'd like to see this back on our agenda as at least a discussion
Yeah, within 2 weeks.
within
for
2
sure.
weeks.
Yeah.
That should give us plenty of time to,
Talk to the people we need to talk to.
And John, if anything you find out, could you relay that to Richard so he can pass it on to his neighbors?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Okay, supervisor committee meeting updates. I had another MAPPA, meeting last week, just had to pay some bills. It was a Zoom thing, nothing important. And, juvenile detention, we did meet and, nothing exciting happened there.
I didn't have any meeting last week.
I had a Zoom meeting with SWIPCO. Our biggest thing is we've, had to, talk to some of our drivers and stuff about their dress codes and things, being out on the road and, not quite wearing appropriate attire for driving. That's what was stated by the CEO. He says, we've got to change some things. We've got to look better. So that was a big thing there. And then I went to a, board meeting, board of directors with, Glen Haven. They are getting all of their hookups, their electricity, gas, things like that. Generator, they have one coming from Power Tech. And then another thing that made a lot of difference was we had a large Medicaid bill that had been hanging for 2 years. $117,000 from the state and feds.
The bill to the state?
No, they owed us. They finally decided they could pay it. So it helps your bottom line out a lot when you get your money back.
Do business.
So, and there's a lot of things that's gotta be done between now and then June 1, when the state turns everything over to the rest home and to the school. So that's where we are there.
Okay. Jakob.
All right, we have a final payment voucher for project 114, and the overlay on health percent. With Silver City, related to basically wrap up the paperwork for the project, lease retainage of $30,000. Just kind of further how the DOT's process, like to get the board for the city.
Retainers.
I'll make a motion to approve the final voucher for project number FPBG SWAP 065 114 FG 65.
And so we just go by the parentheses number 114.
I'll second his motion.
We've got a motion and a second to approve the final retainage payment for the voucher for project 114, as Mr. Farrow says. Is there any other discussion? Everything look good on it? Any problems? Troubleshooting happy? Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
I,
Aye. For 29, almost into May.
All
Okay,
right,
for general discussion, Jake, that was easy this morning.
general discussion, we did get a quote on our new grader, which we budgeted for next fiscal year. They're about, he told me, I think it might be 6 months. The price of the new one is $408,959. We budgeted $380,000. But I think we'll come in a little under budget because this is pre-trade. Typically, we're hoping to get around 80,000 for trading, so
Good.
I don't knock that down. They rose their prices, so we're trying to play the game. Well, our trading prices rose too, but they're not going for it.
Hey, do we have a spare? You keep
We
it
only
on, obviously, you
keep
can do is
one
keep one spare.
So we're actually gonna be trading in the spare this one.
Okay, and then putting this one into the spare.
This one won't go into the spare. We'll take another one from our fleet into the spare, and then this one goes.
This one will go.
We rotate them out, pretty much about 12,000 hours, is kind of what we get out of them, and then they'll replace.
Is this one, the one you're replacing, is it one that you've refurbed or rebuilt before, or?
No.
Okay,
No, we had, one of them, we redid the transmission and everything, it was like
Yeah.
20,000. And that one we've kept over 12,000 since we put in that.
sure, okay. All
So
right,
we'll bring that to the board for approval later on.
we'll be looking forward to that.
Yes. And then also we did receive a quote, for rejuvenation spray on Lambert Ave. This is from our West 195th Street. Orange Road. It's about 3 miles. We budgeted for the fiscal year for this project of 80,000. The quote is $78,060. So came in right all the money on that. And now to wrap up with some good news, I got word this morning, we did receive a $10,000 grant, for a sign replacement. USP started doing that last year. We submitted it on the day it was due, and they stopped accepting application, I don't know, at like 12:30 in the morning. Apparently people stayed up at midnight, submitted it, and they received too much. And so when we submitted at 7:30 in the morning, it was already closed. So I had Eric, our sign guy, this year, and said, hey,
That you're on?
get on, yeah, log on 12:01 or whatever, hit submit. And so he did, and we finally got awarded. So
Good.
yeah, good news there.
That's through the DOT.
Yes.
were we putting down, farm and market yesterday?
Yeah, it started yesterday. They're rolling again today. So farmer market be completed this week.
Good.
Got a bid for a seal coat, so we'll be looking at those numbers. I think it came in right about what we were thinking. Slightly higher, but not too bad. I think we'll be able to get a decent amount done this, later this summer on that too.
Steveville's still doing that?
Yes,
Good. They're about the only game in town, aren't they?
pretty much. Mhm. And, sometimes pretty much, I mean, I think they've had, if it was Matt's, someone, they go between one other company too.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I pretty much stayed over.
Good.
That's all I got.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Nothing for me?
Not yet.
Alrighty.
You can haul some insulation for us.
Volunteer for that. We're busy holding on.
Okay,
All right.
Thank you.
thank you.
Yep.
Elizabeth Richardson,
Yes, sir.
Bears, come on up,
Got my commissioners too.
bring them up.
Bring them up. Yep, you won't hear a thing if you guys sit back there.
Oh, I got a good hearing.
Join her.
I wasn't complaining about your hearing. Let's get one more for you, Jess. You guys know everybody? Oh, the other one's home.
Paul doesn't want to be on TV.
Oh, you know what? Paul, the only person that sees me, if it helps usually. Oh, maybe not.
There we
No,
go.
no, we're all there.
Oh,
We're all
okay.
here now.
Okay. So,
Consideration formal action regarding the office move.
yes, so I would like to know, are we moving? The VA office, is that a done deal? Has that been discussed? Do you guys have thoughts on that,
If you're happy with it, I'm happy with it.
with where we're at?
Either, I don't know, what do you want to do?
Well, if we stay where we're at, we are looking at writing some grants to add just a little bit more, security and privacy. They're just things we need done in the building. That would include really giving Lori walls. She needs more privacy when she's dealing with clients because she is right next to the open foyer entrance. And so she's got to be able to talk to people when they come in and yet be able to have private conversations with clients. My concern is I had heard that we were possibly moving to public health building, we're not necessarily against. I just want to know what the direction is.
We've talked about it briefly. I think we've talked about it in one work session, but we haven't talked about it really since. I know I've talked with you guys. I'd say the board will have to meet during another work session, probably with you, Elizabeth, and a few other commissioners. We can talk about a few things and try to come up with some sort of game plan, whether or not you're going to move, where you're moving, what it's going to take for you guys to move, what we have to do to accommodate VA, things of that nature.
Well, that's what I was hoping. I know we've asked Richard, he's our liaison at meetings, and the last time was the 11th of April, we had our meeting. You mentioned there were floor plans. So, we've talked about the floor plans as a staff and with commissioners kind of on what would work for us. And, I just, since I know you guys have gotten this information, at least want to share them while we're here.
Sure.
You know, however, I spoke with Caitlin in charge of public health yesterday. And back in January, when we first discussed this with you, Jack, there was approximately 3 people that were going to be in the office come July 1st. Amanda, Belinda would be gone because of their grant. Everyone else, I'm sorry, and Kim. So it'd be Caitlin, Kim for Darren's teacher, and then the homemakers. I talked to Caitlin, so about 3 people, 3-4 people, and most of them out of the office all day. I talked with Caitlin yesterday, and it sounds like by July 1st, there could be 10 people working there. There's not room if they have 10 people and we put in our staff. Unless you want to start putting up walls in buildings and walls in rooms, and I mean, there's some expense, some real expense that could go into that. So I don't even know if that's a feasible idea. At least want you guys to know that. I want to share the information.
I don't think, well, first and foremost, these floor plans, since you brought them up, they were drawn by public health themselves.
Mhm.
The Board of Supervisors nor the auditor's office drew those floor plans. That's what their ideal floor plans were, just like you guys have your ideal floor plans. In addition to that, I'm the liaison to public health, and I have no, I don't know anything about them being 10 people. They're gonna have a community health worker. They have 2 homemakers. They have Kim. They have the Amanda and Belinda, and they have Caitlin. So that's 7.
And Caitlin also mentioned that having a homemaker supervisor, the part-time homemaker as needed, and a nurse from Fremont, since we're working with Fremont. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I had 10 people. So that she said, I'd like at least 9 desks, spaces.
Yeah.
And some of those rooms she can put multiple people in, but when Caitlin drew this up, which is why I wanted to visit with her, she didn't understand we can't put 4 or 3 or 2 desks in a room. We need 1 desk in a room. because of privacy concerns. We can't sit there and discuss somebody's mental health and medical information or whatnot, social security, whatever, and share that with anyone else. She goes, well, you could take them to a consult room. And I said, well, we all see clients at the same time. She just didn't know what we were doing.
Sure.
And that's fine. But that's why I wanted the conversation. We need to be able to discuss.
We do.
We want BA brought to the table so we can discuss what you guys want or what public health wants and what we need. And our biggest concern is just for our clients. We want to make sure the veterans have the dignity, respect that they need, that they get the privacy that is required for the job that we do, and that we make, their ease in getting to and fro and their comfort level. Again, I want the world for them. I want to do the best we can, but that's all there. That's all.
But we do as well, and personally, speak my opinion, I think, I've taken all of you down there by now. Paul, you went down there, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. The amount of space, I remember, Jim, you brought that up, the amount of space that's in that building is immense. And when we're talking about trying to make sure that we're trying to keep an eye on the budget, if we can find ways to use the space that's already available, and kind of downsize buildings in a way so that we can save costs, and instead of paying for buildings, we can provide more services to residents. I prefer that, but we just got to make sure that it works for everyone. So I'd be more than happy to have a work session with you guys if you two would be.
Absolutely, and public health.
Yeah, and public health, yes.
Let's all sit down at the table.
Yep.
What do you need? What do they need? What do we have? And we'll go from there.
Find somewhere in the middle.
Lot of room workable for, I think, everybody.
Mhm.
But,
But honestly, and I haven't got to talk to him since I talked to Caitlin last night, so I apologize. So, and I know you guys don't have this in front of you, but this is one of the options that they gave, Caitlin gave me. And even for 9 people, they would take the yellow and one of the blue. That leaves possibly 2 offices for us. And we can't do that. I mean, that's not enough. We need 3 minimum. And then we want space.
How many
for
offices do you have now?
3. And then we have a veteran resource center with a computer and an ability to visit. Now, the one office has imaginary walls. But
Yeah, it's not an office.
no, it is. We pull people into our office. We have found ways. It's a lot of juggling. It's not the best scenario. That's why I want to do a grant. And we were going to put grants in this spring session until I heard that we might move. There's no reason to put money into the building if we're not staying. So, but I'll jump right back on that. We've done it before. We've already remodeled that building once for needs. I'd like to continue to do that if we're staying. Yes, I want to save money. Absolutely want to save money. But if there's not room for us to do our job, then that's not serving our people.
I think what needs to be looked at is one of those offices large enough to petition off where you would have to.
Well, that's just it. We're gonna have to add walls,
Yeah.
doors.
But, I mean,
That's the minimum.
There's gonna be some expense either way, whether you stay or move. So we just all need to sit down and be on the same page and do this together. Whether it's moving or whether it's staying.
Yeah,
Because initially, the initial thought was that we might even move as soon as July. I mean, so we really got to make a move one way or the other because
I don't see
you
that
can't
happening.
obviously move.
Not that fast.
So.
No.
Yeah, I mean, we start, when we go down there, the end of January, yes, Jim. So, I mean, we've been talking about this for a while now, but we haven't sat down as a whole board, so I think it would be a good.
We're not
idea.
under the gun to sell the building right now.
No.
So it's not like we're gonna say, oh, well, you need to move in a month.
And we're not gonna get you out
That
that
won't
fast.
happen. Right, that won't happen.
well, the only other thing I was thinking to save money is if there's only 3-4 people tops down there, then maybe we can use their computer systems and whatnot instead of purchasing new for our office. That I've held off purchasing if we could use theirs. Because Patrick said they're very good. Just things like that. So again, I'm kind of holding up my budget to do things because if we can save 5,000-6,000, I'm all for
Understood.
it. But so if we can meet sooner than later,
Let's do that.
if
Let's-
that's possible, because I
let's do
really
some
like to
work
know what
session.
we're doing.
Yeah, Richard can talk to you and figure out a date and let us.
What date you want?
When's next? May 9th? At our next board session, next board meeting?
Ours is May, yeah, we could, yeah. You wanna?
I mean,
you
I
guys
would
wanna
just
come to our
prefer
board?
to do it
Sure.
on a meeting day and try to get all the board members back together. If not easy, you guys run around too much.
So what time do you guys meet?
We meet at 8:30. So can you two make
PM?
that as AM?
8:30 AM on May 9th.
Do you want us to meet at the public health building or do you want to meet at your building?
Let's meet where we have enough room. This
Well, we probably should go to the annex.
I think so.
And we'll invite
annex
you.
works.
I'll send them an email.
May 9th
Send me
at
that annex, so.
If not, I'll get back to everybody. I'll
Thanks,
send
yeah.
out an email and try to coordinate it and I'll get back with everybody.
It's not open, we could always have it here.
yeah, we'll figure someplace out.
There's just not a lot of wiggle room down there.
No.
Do you
Look at the
want,
annex.
I-
do you want to have your meeting first and then meet with us, or do you want us to do it
No, we
during
can
your
meet with
meeting,
you
or
guys.
8:30 or
Yeah.
9, or
Well, does 8:30 work for you guys?
we're flexible?
Well, why don't we meet with you guys first?
Yeah, no.
It is, 6 AM would be best for me,
No.
but,
We make that work?
yeah.
No, we
yeah.
can't.
Candy hearts, I'll be there.
Right, I'll bring coffee and donuts.
May the best.
8:30
Whatever.
so far?
8:30, yeah, we can start
Tentatively.
with you guys. That's gonna be our biggest topic anyway, so.
I'll get back with everybody, let you know.
Yes, send an invite out, please. That'll be a public meeting, obviously, 'cause we'll all be there, so we'll have to figure out some way to take minutes and record it.
We're gonna figure it out.
Well, it already is. The recording. Okay, because
Yeah,
I
we
mean, it's
just-
part of our meeting. If you're
Yeah.
part of our guests,
As long as we're recording and taking minutes, we're good.
we're good. Okay, perfect. Any other thoughts, Karen?
I just, after met down there with Jack and everything, the amount of room that's down there and everything, it's very viable and workable for everybody. Like you said, if we can get together and work collectively. together,
Yes,
I think that worked.
team effort will go far.
And cost wise, what's
Yes.
it's gonna take. I think it'd be a win-win for both of us,
Yeah.
both entities.
Well, if there's room, like I said,
If there-
if they
yeah,
add
if it
a
works
lot of
out.
people, it could get really interesting down there. I don't know, but we want to do what's best for everybody.
We'll figure it out, it's our job to make sure that everybody has the space that's required for their offices. We'll work on
One of the things I really like about it, it's all on one level. You don't have to worry about your ramp, your snow removal and things like that, so,
There's definitely some perks to being in that building.
Yeah.
The only thing that you lose really is your visibility not being on the main drag if you move down there. But we already talked about how simple it could be to put up a sign on the road saying, hey, turn right here, there's where public health. Well, I mean, we should do that anyways, public health, VA, sheriff's office, roads, crew, things like that. All in all, I think it could be really good for you guys.
A
So,
lot of open wasted space down there.
And right now,
We're
yeah.
just trying to be as money conscious as we can.
all good students.
Yep.
Well, then I do want to end on a good note, just to give you a quick update on the office. Currently, our monthly awards, this is the amount of money that veterans, their families, widows, widowers are receiving every month through the VA office is $1,174,888. That comes to a total yearly award of $14,098,560. That's again, just in Mills County. In comparison, Page, Montgomery, are $600,000 to $400,000 a month. So quite a difference here. And this involves over 600 active claims for those awards that we manage in the county. That doesn't include new ones, pending ones, appeals. Some of these claims take 5-6 years. And we have approximately 173 veterans in the county that are 100% permanent and total. So
173. So
approximately, yeah. That's our numbers. People that we know that actually are using the homestead exemption, there's probably closer to 190, almost 200, I bet.
people
That just are receiving that, but are maybe have a home in the county. Just to give you some numbers. So things are doing good.
Thank you.
very good.
No,
Thank you,
the lady that sits on ISAC board, she always makes a comment. She says, one of the wealthiest little rich counties in the state of Iowa, according to veterans. So,
Well, veterans might disagree with that, but.
well, fine, but I mean, what, you know, what, it's like you're saying here, you know, $1 million a month coming into, that's spent in Mills County through veterans. That's a lot of money.
Is it all from the feds or is some from the state?
That's federal,
It's all federal.
federal benefits. Yeah, tax-free, federal benefits. Okay,
Thank you very
thank
much.
you, gentlemen,
guys.
appreciate it. Thank you, Amber.
Thanks, guys. Yep.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
See you all later.
What did I say?
Tomorrow. Yeah.
The next item on the agenda is John Pfeiffer with the Grand County Attorney's Office. Statement for the record.
Statements the following statement is to ensure clarity and adherence to legal and ethical obligations. On multiple occasions, this office has advised members of this body that convening informed and discussing county business outside of an officially noticed open or closed meeting is inconsistent with the requirements of Chapter 21 of the Iowa Code and undermines transparency and public trust. Despite these advisories, it has come to our attention that such actions have continued. This office must emphasize that engaging in these activities not only violates statutory requirements, but also exposes yourselves to significant personal legal liability and exposes the county to reputational risk. The continued engagement in these behaviors and disregard of the county attorney's advice on this issue may result in the county attorney's office being unable to provide legal representation or counsel in a litigation or legal matter arising from actions taken in contravention of this advice. This position is not taken lightly, but reflects our commitment to uphold the law and the principles of open governance. We strongly urge all members to conduct deliberation of county business solely within the parameters of duly noticed meetings as required by law. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Patrick around.
Okay, John, I have a question. You probably self-explanatory, but I do business with Lonnie, you know, as a business. I have him survey and stuff. And I've had people call me afterward, well, we saw you going in Lonnie's office. I said, I'm splitting property. I said, I'm using, well, what are you talking about? I mean, as long as I say I'm splitting property, that,
You are free to engage in private business on your own time, as long as you're not discussing or engaging in county
Say, I might
business.
have you come and land survey my house.
Right. Yeah, you would discuss that, yeah.
okay. Well, I was supposed to go to a meeting last night. I called your office and stuff, because I wanted to make sure, you know, it was at least free to travel to another county and stuff and not be scrutinized by,
As long as we're not discussing county business.
Yeah, as long, you're free to engage in private business, as long as there's no discussion of county business, that is A-okay on the level.
okay.
Thank you. Mr. Benz.
Bringing back those 4 policies we talked about 3 weeks ago, had a chance to, left it open for review. If you guys had a chance to look at them or any concerns or
I
questions.
scanned through them.
Same with department heads, there was no exact concerns either way, so like to get those approved if possible. So we have the 4 policies. There's the IT acceptable use of security policy, the artificial intelligence policy, the disclosure of security related information policy, and the family HIPAA policy.
I would make a motion to approve updates to the IT policies.
Second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve the updates to the IT policies. It's 4, correct? As presented, is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Need signature, who's for
Yes. one.
Did you write the AI policy with the AI?
I did not. I thought that'd be too far down the rabbit hole. I'll borrow the templates from the county.
There you go.
No.
Thank you.
Great, so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for what you do, Patrick. Thank you, what Richard said about it. Amber Farnan.
Okay, finished the general relief policy. Made a few minor changes here and there, but basically it was more of a cleanup, making sure that it read clearly, and then also that it kind of followed what the board intended general relief to do. I worked with this knowing that we are going to be partnering with Jenny Edwards, community health worker, so that way ours could be a little bit more narrow, where they'll be able to help more people outside of the confines of our general relief policy.
I think you've had a very difficult task over the last few months doing general relief, and then updating the policy isn't too simple either. So thank you for your work on that. Appreciate it. I'd make a motion to approve the revised general relief policy.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the revised general relief policy. Is there any discussion?
Well, I've read it a couple times and I'm very pleased with what's been changed, what's been brought up to date. And now that we're getting some extra help from Jenny Edmondson, I think it's gonna work out a lot better for the county, be able to help more people. A little further down the road, you know.
Yes.
And I appreciate the clarity on here, what general relief is for, what it's not for, and then funding availability. Those were things that, were needed. Thank you for putting those in.
Yep.
We've got a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Anything I'd like to sign on that, Amber? Or is that just,
I've got minutes too, so I'll just get everybody's signature.
Good. Any new business?
Okay, the biggest thing would be next week's meeting. Lonnie and I will be gone in the evening. So do we want to postpone, go to the next Tuesday for a evening meeting, or what's you guys' opinion? Go ahead and have boards on Tuesday morning, even though Amber has a meeting set up.
That's at 10, so we should still have.
We
our
should be
regular
done
meeting.
by
You should
then.
be fine. I mean, I would, if we could push the night meeting back a week. Work
I'm
for
fine with it.
everyone. Fine with that.
So we'd have next week, we would have a regular meeting in the morning, and then on the 13th, we would have a night meeting.
Zoning meeting is there, so we can have it here.
Yeah.
Still have it here.
I might have to miss that one.
Yeah, because you're
I've
on
had
the
people call me.
I'm on the zoning board, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, Jack, we might just. It's up to you. It's your call. What do you want to do?
It's not my call.
Yeah. I have no problem with the night meeting. It's just squeezing it in one of the first 2 weeks. We go
Yeah.
to the third week. If,
I can't do the 20th.
okay.
Not that you guys care, but I've got Bailey's one of her last things.
No, that's fine.
Wait, that's also why I can't come to the 6th, but.
Okay. I mean, I'd be fine, having the meeting next week or just having it by myself.
You have an open house.
Yeah.
The house instead of an open meeting. You're more than welcome to do that. There's be no action taken.
I'll just sit and talk.
I'm good with that.
No, you guys, you're the ones who you guys got stuff going on, so you let me know and we don't have to talk about it now, but we'd just say we're not gonna do it next week.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
You guys
can have it in the morning.
We can
We'll have
figure
it-
it out.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think 16 would be 8:15. We will have, that will just roll into that one at 10, right, John?
So it'll,
Yes.
it'll be a hard stop at
What
9:59.
meeting is that, Tim?
Huh?
What meeting is that, Tim?
The Iowa.
Oh, yes,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, public records.
Oh.
Any other new business? Mr. Sheriff, you have anything to add to our new business? Okay,
Appreciate the offer though.
all right, just checking.
I got a video to show you. We're done here.
Well, I took the sign out of my cruiser
Oh, you did?
last week and didn't put it back in.
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 8:56.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn at 8:56. Any discussion? Hearing that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.